Eula Geller has been using her skills. Oh yeah. So it was easy to find out that her indiscernible object manipulation equals telekinesis. If that's the case, I'm not sure why we even have these files. But anyway, I follow. And how about we take a look at the bottom part? Threat level. The threat of each staffer is ranked by the risk posed by his or her skill. Cool. Oh. Oh, I understand now. Yeah. Unharmed. It's like weak. Bowie. Stronger. Colt. Strong. Deadly. The last one. Whatever you call that. If they pose no threat, they're labeled unarmed. If the risk of harm, or if the risk of harm is that of an edged weapon, then labeled Bowie. Don't get confused with that Bowie. No, this Bowie. If they pose the same danger as a small firearm, they're labeled Colt. The threat of their skills are all compared to the weapons. Staffer with a high threat level may have some restrictions placed upon them that could interfere with normal life. Eula Geller is rated Colt. Does that mean her skill is as dangerous as someone wielding a pistol? Next comes the skill range. This shows how far the staffer's skill can reach. In Miss Geller's case, I see she can only manipulate objects that are within 2 meters of her. The catalyst section below shows what the staffer needs to use a particular skill. But in Geller's case, she doesn't need anything for hers, so we'll skip that. Last of all, we have a section to rate anything of note about the skill that isn't included in the above sections. The information in this section can vary widely depending on the skill on a person's burr file. If the skill were about controlling something, we'd have information about the substance that can be controlled. If the skill were about creating something, we would have info on what can be created. Maximum weight, 20. About are able to control 2 objects at once. 2 meters for 165 seconds. So, shall we wrap up our explanation here? This information seems overly simplified. Aren't there any documents with a bit more details on them? There are, but this is the limit to the info we're able to obtain at our current clearance level. Since the investigation department is still classified experimental with the burr, we don't have much in the way of clearance. I see. So what's the test that goes along with this? The reason I'm showing you Eula Geller's burr file is because this woman is the prime suspect in our investigation thus far. We have 3 reasons for thinking this. Now, let me show you the evidence we have gathered on her, one item at a time. You see, we have a photo of her murdering this person. We have her fingerprints on the weapon. And she has confessed to the crime. You have to look at this evidence and figure out the 3 reasons we currently suspect Eula Geller. Got it. You want to find out if I'll be any help on a real case. What do you think? Up to the task? If I say no, will you switch the test to something else? Like, if I can walk in a straight line? Maybe... maybe play the game Ace Attorney? Not a chance. Then I've got no choice but to do it. Though I didn't really want you to change the test in the first place. Good. Then you're confident. You can use all that confidence to get you back home. So that's an okay from him? Then let's show him the first. Oh, I remember these. Is this a testimony? Miss Geller gave a statement? The name of the witness is Yola Gela, and the document seems to explain the circumstances of the witness finding the body. I was the first to find him there like that. I came to see him at 9 o'clock to bring his coffee. I know that sounds suspicious, but I didn't kill him. A little weird why her heartbeat started increasing at the just simple coffee mentioned, but... The name of the witness is Yola Gela. Oh, I already said this. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary witness statement, but this part... This column, it says heartbeat? What does that mean? Oh! He's pretty sharp, huh? About the abnormal heartbeat column. It gives me a place to check when I detect a change in the witness's heart rate. The witness's heart rate? That's what I said! Much of the evidence collected by the Mana Affairs Division is acquired using the skills of investigators. And this is a special witness statement written using my own special skills. I am the best. My skill is precision vibration detection. When a potential suspect makes a statement, I use my skill to keep track of their pulse. Using skills to collect evidence and file out documents? So you're a clerk? Then what's it mean when you record that the witness had an abnormal heartbeat? When I detect an abnormal heartbeat, it's for one of the three reasons. The witness is either in an agitated state, they're talking about something emotional, like murder or death, or the witness is lying. I see. So you're like a lie detector. We already have those. Why do we need you? No, 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 no! I am way more accurate than those hunks of junk. You shouldn't say such things. Athena has a bit of a standing rivalry with lie detectors. Do not! That aside, there's one odd part of the witness statement. Find and point out the section that's leading us to suspect her. That's the first part of your test. Okay, let me give a try. If they're choosing to show me this document, there must be some sort of falsehood recorded inside her statement. If I pay attention to the times when her heart rate is abnormal, I should be able to find the lie in her statement. However, lying isn't the only reason for fluctuations in her heart rate, so I've got to be careful. The false part of her statement and abnormal heartbeat to prove it. If there's some sort of contradictory information in there, I'll be able to link those two things. Tick, 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 tick. Pin on. I would say this to this. Like, why would she freak out about having a heartbeat about, like, bringing coffee? The only thing, she's talking about death, so makes sense. Bambo! This part of the statement is a bald-faced lie. Oh, that was a quick answer. Shall we have a look? Why exactly do you think this part is the lie? Pathetic. No, it's not like that. We don't know if he just got lucky. We can't pass him until we get a convincing explanation why. True, if I had to explain my reasoning behind the thought. The witness statement contains two instances of abnormal heartbeats. The second part where she visits the crime scene to bring him coffee. And the fourth part where she denies committing the murder. If the fourth part denying the murder were the lie, this would be an open and shut case. However, since she used the emotion-laced word kill in the fourth part, there's a high likelihood that her heart rate would spike anyway. In other words, it's hard to figure out the true reason behind the abnormal heartbeat there. You detected an abnormal heartbeat, but that doesn't necessarily prove that this part of the statement was a lie. You catch on quick. However, unlike the fourth part of the statement, she doesn't use any sort of emotion-provoking words. And there's no part of it that's worth getting worked up over. Yet you detected an abnormality in her heart rate, meaning this part of the statement is a lie. In other words, Yulia Geller did not visit the crime scene to bring coffee to the victim. That's quite suspicious. That's right, you found our answer. I did that in seconds. How long did it take you guys? A whole day? What? What? That's absurd. Are we gonna go through each of their little skills, I'm guessing, for each of the evidence? I also had my suspicions about Geller's statement and continued questioning the suspect. Here are the results of my interrogation. Another statement, just from a look at the document, I can see your witness got very worked up. You're asking me if I came on any business besides bringing coffee? Why ask? Are you suspecting me for this? The ringleader, the victim always takes a cup of coffee at 9 p.m. After all, he normally stays out until morning the nights after performances. That's the only reason I was there at that night, too. I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Well, all that heart rate is suspicious. That's right. When a witness is excited or agitated, I detect strange heartbeats, whether the statement is true or not. So we're unable to tell whether the testimony is true or not with this document alone. At times like these, we've got to bring in some other evidence. So I think I'd better take over the explanation from here. Don't go getting smug just because you beat me. The three of us, I'm the runt of the litter. I'm not. However, I'm not. How was I smug? Plus, that wasn't exactly something to win or lose over. You already call yourself the runt of the litter, so why not accept it? Pathetic. Shut up! People always pick winners and losers. Hurry up, Brian. Show them the data you got. Alright, I guess I will. I do hate to judge others. But that was a problem I simply couldn't overlook. I do hope you understand. Here you go, case. You got a second test. Trace photos. Footprints, Houdini, 1. Alright, Lazarus desk makes sense. 2. Footprints, Geller. That is weird that it leads up. Or no, it goes to the coffee and back, but why does it lead further behind? Like, staying beside, okay. 3. Victim's palm, strong impact. What? I have to zoom in more. Is the palm in the front of the desk? Or is that him slunched over, so like he's slammed down? 4. Handprint, gloved hand. 4. Okay. 5. Impression, square shaped. Okay, and 6. Footprints, Geller. Oh, so she came in the room twice. Interesting. She came in at 7:30 and then 9 later. And looked at 7:30. Maybe she did. It's interesting. Here you go, case. So second test. This must be a photo of the crime scene. The person slumped over the desk must be the victim of the case we're investigating. Also, we're currently saying Yola Geller is our prime suspect, right? From the picture of the victim. Was the cause of death this blows to the head? What's all this green ink, though? Those are the pieces of trace evidence left behind at the scene of the crime. Fingerprints, footprints, scratches, and more. We've got all sorts of forensic clues. My skills are to accentuate various clues so that others can easily see what they are. That's a very long description. Using my skill, I can make records of the clues I find in the photos of the crime scenes like this. We call them trace photos. A skill to find clues. Besides just staffers, this might be possible for anyone to do given enough time. Yet, perhaps. It's not just about finding evidence either. The time the trace evidence was left is written here too. Nice catch. My skill makes clues appear to shift in color and brightness depending on how much time has passed. I then analyze all that information and determine when each trace was made or left. So he organizes all that information to produce these trace photos. That would certainly help out an investigation. Back to the point. This trace photo contains a piece of information that contradicts another piece of evidence. Let's call finding that contradiction your second test. Alright, I already know it. Let's think. The information on this trace photo was found and organized by Detective Brian himself. There could be no mistakes on this end. In other words, if a document contains something that contradicts this trace photo, it's the information on that document that's wrong. The information on this trace photo will help us find the lies on other documents. I think I already know it. Her second statement, I think, contradicts this. Maybe this? With this? Or with this? I feel like it's one of those because she came twice. Damn. That's not it. So maybe this? What? Oh, I have to read the description part. Okay, it's this one. It says, yeah, she didn't visit the crime scene besides that night. Okay. There we go. There we go. I was like, she never mentioned a second visit. I've got it. You can take your time if you'd like. That's quite alright. The document's contradicting this trace photo is this witness statement. Would you like to point to a specific part of the statement and explain what's contradictory about it? In the additional witness statement, Thena got, there's this one part that stands out. It says, I had no other reason to visit the scene that day. Given Miss Geller's agitated state, it's impossible to judge the validity of that statement based on abnormal heartbeats alone. She might have been in love with Thena, and that's why her heart rate was everywhere. However, by looking at this trace photo, we can now see that this part of her statement was false. This trace photo clearly shows the footprints Miss Eula Geller left behind. Eula Geller. One part is, as Miss Geller said, we can see there were footprints left at 9 o'clock. If the statement that she had no other business with the deceased that day were true, those would be the only footprints she left at the crime scene that day. But that's simply not the case. There are another set of footprints left behind at 7:30. One set of footprints at 7:30 and one set of footprints at 9 o'clock. Miss Geller visited the scene of the crime twice that day, so her statement that she only visited a single time is clearly a lie. There's your contradiction between the two documents. What'd you think? Am I wrong? Yes, horribly. Yes, horribly. Get out of my fucking face. I'm sorry. No, that is indeed the answer. It wasn't the most difficult of problems, but you delved so far into this in such a short time. Bam. Third test is next. As you said, Eula Geller did visit the crime scene at 7:30. We questioned her about it, but she wouldn't say a word. The victim entered the room at 6 o'clock. Since the victim left no footprints leaving the room, we can safely say he was still in the room at 7:30. We don't know exactly what happened inside the room at that time, but it was certainly nothing to write home about. So that's why you all suspect Miss Geller to be the culprit. Well, there's that, but also Yellow Geller is the only person who could have committed this crime in the first place. Huh? Well, you see, like I said before, we have this photo of her there, we have her fingerprints. She even confessed. Here, taking a look at the photo. There are no other footprints that approach the victim besides Yola Geller's, right? Yeah, that's clearly the case, though I do remember a set of footprints labeled Houdin. That's the name of the victim. He's the sad sap slumped over the desk in this picture. He's dead. You don't have to like insult the dead man. It's obvious that we'd have the victim's footprints at the scene of the crime, right? Yeah, that's right. So let's think this through. Ooh, okay. Well, we actually get a little like layout too. That's kind of cool. What's that melting thing in the background though? Flower broken. Okay. Judging from the footprints we have on record, only 2 people entered the scene of the crime that day. The victim, Jean Henry Houdin. I love the derp little guy. And our suspect, Yola Geller. As you can see from the picture, a bunch of water was spilled at the scene of the crime. Geller stepped in the pool of water before approaching the victim. But why would she risk getting her shoes wet to get behind the victim? Obviously, it was because she's got to get close to whack him on the head. So like, was he sleeping during this time, or did he just go... If he wasn't sleeping, just saw her her approach him with a baseball bat, according to that picture. Da, 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 da. Oh, dang it, I spilled this vase. What's with the baseball bat? Look at the spilt vase. I can clearly see the baseball bat behind your back. What are you going to do with that? Look at the spilt vase. I don't want to. Bam! In the back of that. It would be in the front still, too. Like, how did you get in the back of the head without him realizing it? Athena, if you keep going, we'll have nothing for the 3rd test. Ah! Eek! I got sort of carried away there, but I'll cut it out. Sorry, everyone. I just couldn't rein in these fantastic reasoning skills of mine. So, what's all that mean for my tests? Unfortunately, since our investigation is still in progress, we've got no more information to show you. Until our investigation continues, we have no choice but to stop the test. What? Sarge, if I may change the subject for a moment. This case, I don't think it calls for further investigation. What do you mean? At the current junction, we can say with near certainty that Yola Geller is our culprit. Rather than pressing forward with further investigation, let's hand this off to the police and take off focus to other cases. Oh, I definitely agree with you on that. We're practically drowning in cases we haven't even touched yet. Well, I can't agree with you all on that. It's quite natural to point the finger at Yellow Geller as the prime suspect, but I think Detective Thena overlooked a piece of information during her explanation of her 3rd reason for suspecting Miss Geller. Huh? What? You mean my rationale was not spot on? She overlooked something. What might that be? She did. Generally speaking, her logic would be correct, but since this Yellow Geller we're speaking of, we must say that Thena's doesn't hold water. So have you found a hole in your logic? But would you mind explaining what that might be? This tape recorder has everything we said just a moment ago recorded on it. Print out the part that stands out to you. After you print it out, point out which part of the transcript seems odd. So I just press this print button. So I select the part of the printed transcript that stands out and use it in the connection with another piece of evidence. If I want to defend the argument, I'll say I support. But if I oppose the argument, I'll pick the oppose and connect it to the piece of evidence that supports my opposition. Okay. Lock in, boys and gals. Okay. But why would she risk getting her shoes wet to get behind the victim? Obviously because she's got to get close to whack him on the head. Oh, that's wrong. Because of her thing. Oh, I didn't want to pin that. But hey, it's fine. Bam. Oppose. Right? Bam! I knew who to call out because we were like, oh, screw you, see? It's the part about Yeller Geller risking her shoes getting wet in order to get close to the victim. You thought the reason she might do that was to whack him on the head, right? Like a whack-a-mole, I think you said. I didn't say that! Right! If there's a puddle on the floor, you normally just take the long way around it, no? But her getting so close to the victim is something we can't really explain without assigning the action of some sort of special reason. Right, I agree. However, she might not have approached the victim with the intent of killing him. Which are you basing that assumption on? The suspect's skill. Her skill? Oh, locking in. Indiscernible object manipulation is a rather peculiar name, but you said it's basically just telekinesis, right? She's able to use it up to 2 meters away. For a person with the ability to wield such a skill... Oh. Would she even have to approach the victim to hit him in the head? Ah! As you all said, such circumstantial evidence regarding the suspect approaching the victim would only add more suspicion to the accused, under normal circumstances. However, that's not the case with the Yeller Geller. Our suspect wouldn't need to get that close to the victim. You're right. With her power of telekinesis, she wouldn't have to approach her victim to hit him at 1,000 times. I don't think she needs to hit him that many times. She had no need to approach the victim, yet she approached him anyway. Assuming Miss Geller is the culprit, it's a rather unnatural action for her to carry out. As things stand, we cannot conclude that Miss Geller is our culprit. Still, there's no way we can say for sure that our culprit used any skills. Maybe they forwent skills in the favor of an ordinary blow. Yet, we can't say for certain that no skills were used either. Plus, you saw the floor was wet, right? With wet shoes, you'd have no idea what sort of footprints you'd be leaving behind. In fact, Yeller Geller's footprints being left at the scene of the crime led both Detective Thena and Detective Bryan to suspect Miss Geller. Would a person looking to commit a crime take that risk? Especially if she had the means of killing her victim without getting close to him at all? It'd be more odd for her not to use her skill. We locked in. Logic! Oh my god, I'm blacking out again. And before we continue, or not continue, before we continue with this case, or more of we are going to stop for today. We got like about an hour and a half in. I feel like we still have a tiny bit ways to go, and if we have to, we'll start the next case Wednesday. But that will be all for today. Let's save. These are from my previous ones. Number 1, case 1. Save. Oh, you could hide it? Oh, that actually would be really good for thumbnails. But settings, would it be setting? Where do I leave? Load wouldn't be it. Skip, auto, hide, log. Oh, that's actually useful. Well, I guess we're just gonna close the game unless there's a actual way to. Oh, whoops. Well, we'll see that in the log next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. Starring our new mystery game, we'll be playing this all this week, and we'll go apparently so far back to Lego Harry Potter next week. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the mystery so far, seeing who murdered the ringmaster. And like I said, we'll be continuing Wednesday. I hope to see you all next time. Goodbye.